Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to VC E-Bike Adventures. My name is Derek. So for those looking to purchase an e-bike, I hope that this video will be able to help you in making that right decision because there are just so many e-bikes in the market. Now, first off, why an e-bike instead of a bicycle, or what they refer to here in Singapore, a PAB or pedal assisted bicycle? I think I can give you at least 6 main reasons or important reasons why an e-bike. The first one is you get the same kind of enjoyment as you would from a normal bicycle. Number 2, I can say that an e-bike puts a lot lesser strain on your knees, especially if you're an old chap like me. Number 3 is you put next to no effort in riding up a slope. And of course, this depends on how steep that slope is. You still have the portability, number 4, but that's if you purchase an e-bike that is foldable. And number 5 is you have a lot more stamina to cover more distance. And this, of course, again, depends on the e-bike you invest in, also how heavy you weigh, but we'll talk more about that later in this video. Number 6, now if you want it, you can still ride it like a normal bicycle. You just have to turn off the pedal assist. So because of all the above reasons, I decided to dispose of my 2 foldable Java Fit Sport lying in the corner of my, outside my apartment collecting dust. And now I own 2 e-bikes. I did some extensive research into quite a few models of e-bikes. I also watched many video reviews on YouTube on e-bikes. But before I go on, let us cover a little about that. It is very important that you know that the e-bikes in Singapore are regulated by law by the LTA or Land Transport Authority. All of them are actually pre-inspected. They are affixed with an orange seal and a registration plate, and also it has to be EN 15194 certified. Today, it is also mandatory to take a PAB test online because it will become an offense soon for riding an e-bike without having passed this test. Pedal-assisted bicycles in Singapore are not supposed to have a throttle, and it's not like an e-scooter, and it has to be only strictly pedal assist. Now, unlike our counterparts in other countries, this essentially means if you stop pedaling, the motor just cuts off. And approved e-bikes will also not go faster than 25 kilometers an hour, which means a normal bicycle actually can essentially go faster than your e-bike. Because typically with the bigger wheels and a multi-gear speed capability, but of course today you can also purchase some e-bikes now with multi-gear functionality. An example of this is the 7-speed B-Bike F7. So because of the law, all approved e-bikes are hardwired not to go above 25 kilometers an hour. And all those attractive and glossy features, e-bike ads you see available online for other markets is almost for certain never to be approved for usage in Singapore. And one more thing to note, any modifications will mean prosecution, confiscation, and a hefty fine. So be aware of that. With that out of the way, let's talk about why I chose the Nakxus NF1 from Mobot. It was either this or the Mido e-bike. On paper, the specifications are exactly the same. Both are even priced quite similarly. As a matter of fact, if you put the 2 bikes next to each other, I would really say they came from the same factory, but just branded differently. So why did I decide on the Mobot? I think the Mobot company simply a more established brand name. But other than, of course, the above reason, I had to juggle with many other factors which was important to me. Things like range, power, portability, the tire dimensions, suspension, weight, and as well as aesthetic looks as well. So I came down to the following selection criteria, which wasn't easy. So I looked at the JI Move MC, and it was the e-bike with the best range. Okay, so I tested it. I did not enjoy the handling. The bike did not really appeal to me, although it had a massive 20.8 ah capacity LG battery. So amazing range. Then there was the Mobot Oval. It looked pretty good as an e-bike, very special. It had a dual battery system, a total of about 14 fancy electronics, features, a built-in alarm system. The deal breaker was it was not foldable, so portability was an issue, so that was just out for me too. Then I looked at the Mobot Orca. I love the foldability, the fat tires, the 48 volt AH, which will give you both power and range. But I did not like the aesthetic as it reminded me so much of the JI Move MC. Then I think Mobot had the Virgo. I love the small size. I love the built-in suspension. The look was pretty decent. And it had a 14 AH capacity battery, which was a sizable capacity for an e-bike. But the deal breaker for me for the Virgo was the non-detachable battery, the 12-inch tires, and it's also not foldable. With all those considerations, right, I then decided to go with the Nakxus NF1. The Nakxus has a 36 volt 8.7 AH capacity Samsung battery, but it was detachable. I knew I could always carry a spare battery along on my rides, doubling my range. And on top of that, there is a built-in rear suspension. It has 16-inch tires, front and rear disc brakes, and most importantly, foldability, which means I can fold this bicycle, stick it into my car boot, and if I want to explore other parts of Singapore, various park connector networks, I can do it. So that was really the reason why I went for it. There are, of course, other factors involved when it comes to range. How much you weigh, that's what I mentioned. What power assist level you ride most of the time, the kind of terrain. But what I'll do is I'll just give you an example of a ride. You can watch the video. And I did a ride with my wife recently on a full charge, okay? She weighs around about 50 plus kilos, and she covered the entire range just using mostly speed 1, 2, sometimes 3, now out of the 5 speeds. Then after the entire journey, which was about 44 kilometers, there was still less than 20% juice left on the power indicator. For me, on the other hand, weighing about 97, so almost double her weight, I had to switch battery halfway through the journey. And when I got back, completing the circuit, I was left with around about 35%, okay, on the power indicator. Well, my friends, there you have it. My two Nakxus NF1. I'm happy with its performance so far. I wish it weighed a little lesser than 19.5 kilograms, and I'm sure this option will be available soon in carbon fiber, maybe one day, and that will make it much lighter. But there again, it may cost very much more. I wish it had a 48 volt power battery to give it more torque, but then there again, I guess there's never a perfect electric bike. So until then, the most important thing is this very weird times we live in, just enjoy the fresh air, the natural environment, go right out there, keep that sense of sanity. That's all I can say. I hope this is helpful for you. If you find it helpful, just remember to subscribe. Remember to check out my other videos too. This is Derek again from VC E-Bike Adventures. Checking out. Bye. See you again.